down the hood in the 80s.
Mm,
They're using music as a way to break down our communities now.
mm,
It's digital. It's digital crack, right? So
mm,
you can't name a Jewish drill rapper saying, "Yo, I'm a kite, spin the block, bend the kite, kill a kite." You can't find a Chinese motherfucker talking about, "Yo, konnichiwa, kill it, yeah, yeah, yellow man, kill, yeah, yeah, kill." Fuck out of here. We
mm,
the only culture that creates self-hate, destructive music, and we promote it and market it. It's about
mm,
self-hate. It's systematic racism. You
mm,
understand? So drill means kill. So how you think creates how you feel. How you feel becomes an emotion. That emotion becomes a vibration. That vibration becomes a magnet that attracts things to you. Life or
mm.
death is of the tongue.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
we only talk about death. If you're an op, you're not an op. You're a decimal creator. You're not a nigga. You're an inventor of math.
Mm.
You're not a fuck boy. You create the internet. Use crack as a way to break down.
All right, Shalom. Well, let's start off with saying Kal Halayim La Yahweh, Ba Hashem Yahweh Shai, Ba Hashem Harikah Kodash Ma'amaf. Double honors to the elder apostles of Great Millstone and my elder Herawan as well. Salutations to the Akim and the pushing the truth to sincerity and truth. And peace and blessing to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh Ba Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, so right off the bat, from that video we can understand what this lesson is going into. But real quick, I want to get a scripture that he kind of quoted right then. This is Proverbs 18 and 21. It says, "Life and death are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof." All right. So now we're constantly eating the fruit of death because what? That's a covenant that our people made, trying to fit into this system, man. Then basically the part of the system that they're trying to fit into, what he's explaining, is the music, what they call hip hop, or what's really called killer music, um to our to our children, man. You know, and it's so fucked up because like our our when crack came into the 80s, our people centralized of selling crack to our people in the hood to destroy our people just so they can come up. Now, like how he said, the new form of crack is the music industry. How we use that to destroy our communities, right? To For the niggas that's making this music to come the fuck up, right? Not caring how it's destroying the minds of our children and our people. So these same individuals that promote this type of music, this platform being S small hats, right? They send their children to private school to keep them away from this type of environment while they flood our neighborhoods with this type of energy, right? But this is all part of the curses sent onto us by Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai, man. And it's so true because remember back in the 90s, we had things like self destruction. You headed for self destruction. Brenda had a baby. You had Goody Mob's first album, which was talking about basically the whole, in a nutshell, was talking about the systemic racism that's in our community that this whole system is set up behind. And go figure, their first two albums was directing towards that. But what happened after that? They had the their next single they came out with after Still Standing was Get Rich to This, and it was all glorifying the lavish lifestyle of being in this system, and what they were no longer allowed to teach against the system as they were doing in the two previous albums. So anybody that's trying to do music against this, that promotes what this system is really about, they're not going to they're not going to promote it. B, they're not going to make any money if you try to promote it underground, and they're going to kind of try to keep it a cloth over it or keep it covered up so it can't be have access to easily. So you won't be able to find a true conscious. There's no such thing as conscious rap anymore or conscious hip hop. It's all about the ops, kill, drill, like the brother was just saying. You know. So life and death are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof thereby. Right? And our people love death, man. They love, especially a self-inflicted wound. Our people love Russian roulette. Our people love committing suicide within our nation. Because you do that by pulling away from Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. That's because that's where life comes from, and our people choose not to go according to what life is. They want to go through according to their authority, their father, the devil, man. So until our people get out of that mindset, right? They're gonna still be pushing and promoting this music, and our people are still going to be listening to it. And before I came into truth, I was kind of sort of in the music industry. Nobody real famous, but I did a couple. I was a producer, engineer, and I did a couple tracks for you know major industry individuals, and I seen the bullshit behind the scenes that, like, what I'm saying, it's all for self, man. Our people are willing to not only sell their soul but sell the souls of the individuals that listen to their music, all for $1 to try to fit in or live the lifestyle that Esau's living. That's all the thing is doing is glorifying this bullshit that they have set up. You know, the first scripture I want to get is um let me get Deuteronomy um 28 and 15, because that's where the root of the issue comes from. All right. Deuteronomy 28 and 15. No, matter of fact. Now, we use the entertainment industry as far as sports, movies, music, and things like that to stand out as a nation, but we don't use our true intellect and our true spirit, which is given unto us by Yahweh by Shem Shai, to stand out. But you get what I'm saying? We try to use this world because we are the salt of the earth, man. There wouldn't be any hip hop nation or any NBA or NFL, even MLB, if it wasn't for Jake, man. Jake is the one that keeps these industries thriving, and we don't reap the benefits of it. But the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai doesn't want us to reap the benefits of it. That's why we're going to go into that a little bit too. But Deuteronomy 4 and 5, it says, "Behold, I have taught you statutes and judgments, even as the Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushai commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whether you go to possess it." Right. But what did we choose to do? We chose to not take heed to those statutes that was given unto us by Moses, man, through Yahushai, Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, from Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. It says, "Keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom, your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, Surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people." But they're not saying that right now. They're looking at us as we're the gazing side as a foolish individual. We're the proverbs of reproach. We're the ones that they had and sometimes in derision and a proverb of reproach. We're those individuals. But in the end, they're gonna be like, "How is this number like in the month?" They don't feel like anything. They look at Israel as what they see on television for the whole bunch. And they look at the ones on the highways and byways promoting the truth even worse than the ones they look at on TV. All right, so we look worse to them and to the eyes of these other nations than they'll give 21 Savage, the one that's promoting this wickedness in our society, in our community, better than the ones that are trying to solve the problem through the spirit of Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. That's why all this shit has to be tore up and destroyed, man. Because people have a cloudy vision and they're misconstrued of what righteousness and what wickedness really is. All right, it says, "For the nation, for what nation is there so great, who hath Yahweh so nigh unto them, as the Lord our power is in all things that we call upon him for." Right. So these other nations are supposed to be saying, like, "Yo, man, there's no other great nation that has the most high, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob so near unto them." Because why right now they say gain is godliness. So if you were to go on if you were to look at it from that perspective, then you would look at the small hats um as the children, God's chosen people. But to the contrary, that's not according to the scriptures. That's not according to his word. So the ones that are set up in the position that they're in right now are the ones that are going to get judgment, right? But these devils have the whole world thinking that we're the problem, But initially, we are the problem because we don't choose to go. We didn't choose to go according to these statutes and commandments that was taught to us. All right, for our nation to prosper by Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. Matter of fact, this is Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse um. All right, let me start at verse 1, Deuteronomy 28:1. It says, "And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy power, by these statutes and commandments, to observe and to do all these commandments which I command thee this day, the Lord thy power will set thee on high above all nations of the earth." Right now. Now, we are the salt of the earth, but right now we're just used as puppets and freaking Sambos doing a song and dance on the television for the entertainment of these other nations, man. And for them to mimic the actions that we do to make a fool of ourselves and make it look cool. So we're really a laughing stock to these nations, man, because we don't outside of that we don't have anything established, and the Lord won't allow us to have anything established in this because why? We didn't choose to go according to His route. So if we would have went according to His way, then boom, we would be set up above all the other nations. But let me skip over to verse 15. It says, "But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy power, to observe to do all his commandments and his statutes which I have commanded thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee." Right. So now, because we chose not to listen to Yahweh Shimon Shai, all these curses are going to come upon thee and overtake us. All right. So going into those curses, let me skip over to verse 43, and it says, "The stranger that is within thee shall get above thee very high, and thou shalt come down low." Right. So the Lord brought us down, man. It wasn't nothing these other nations, especially Esau. He was the basest man on the earth. So the Lord had to lift us up as lifting us up, lifting them up. The Lord had to bring us low. And we're witnessing that transition happen back to where they're being brought low and we're lifted up through the Spirit. All right, we're not going to be lifted up carnally. Ain't no rapper going to lift us up. Ain't no type of nothing that goes on in this society going to lift us up above these other nations because this system was not built to lift us up. Salakia. Verse 44 it says, "He shall lend to thee, and thou shalt not lend to him. He shall be the head, and thou shalt be the tail." And that's what you're witnessing today. So everything we have to go to the enemy for the one of all things. That's why the Lord was telling me, "Yo, man, just get your daily bread, because this devil's gonna ask you to do so much, right?" As a matter of fact, let me try to find it in Sirach. These so-called gifts that these devils try to give you don't amount to nothing, man. Amount to a hill of beans. All right, this is Sirach chapter 20. Verse 14, it says, "There is a gift a fool shall do. There's a gift of a fool that shall do thee no good. When thou has it, neither yet." Slakia, hold on. Can't really see this. All right, it says, "There is a gift that shall do thee no good." Matter of fact, this is what I'll do. All right, Slakia. This is Sirach 20 and 14. It says, "The gift of a fool shall do thee no good when thou has it, neither yet of the envious for his necessity. For he looketh to receive many things for one." Right. So you get these contracts, like I did a lesson talking about the contracts and shit, and you ain't gonna really prosper nowhere for it because it's just like another job. Give you so much just to keep you coming back and doing more, trying to keep up with the Joneses. That's why he set the American dream vibration and put it out there for our people to be dumbfounded and keep following after something that doesn't even exist. It says, "He giveth little and upbraideth much." Right. He give a little bit and uphold the rest of it, man, because of his greed. If you're making him that much money, it should be teeter-totter. We should have more control over everything. But our people are so used to just getting pennies that they'll settle for that because you know what I'm saying, just to have something. We still have that slave mentality of like fucking swine eating slop off the ground, whatever the master give us. It says, He giveth little, upbraideth, and upbraideth much. He opened his mouth like a crier. Today he lendeth, and tomorrow he will ask it again. Such an one is to be hated of Yahweh and man. So, you know what I'm saying? The man of the Lord. Not even just the man of the Lord, but like Michael Jackson, Prince, Kanye, Kyrie, all these individuals are talking about how wicked these individuals are. You know what I'm saying? How they forcefully force our people to exploit each other through this dollar, man. Through a so-called American dream, feeling thinking that, oh yeah, all I got to do this and I can make it. So it doesn't matter. You lose all your dignity. You know what I'm saying? And you have no self-respect because you have no care for yourself. Therefore, you're not going to have no care for your nation. So having self-hate is not necessarily looking in the mirror. It's looking at somebody that looks like you, that comes from the same background as you, and you having hate towards them because you want to step on their face just so you can see over the fence to see what Esau's are doing. But we're not going to be allowed to cross that fence at any given time. And if you do cross that fence, the only thing you're doing is serving tables, meaning you're doing the upper echelon of the bidding for the devil. And to in order for you to fit in his organization, what can you do for him to oppress your own people, to help him prove his agenda, and you stay quiet and keep these niggas in line? So he set up the system just for that same purpose. So going back to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 45, it says, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee and shall pursue thee and overtake thee till thou be destroyed. Right. What does Hosea 4 and 6 say? My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, man. Since they have rejected knowledge, he shall also reject them, thee, that we shall be no priests unto thee. Right? So now, but that priestly responsibility was left unto the elect, man, the ones that bear the spirit of Yahweh Shai. All right. It says, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy power to keep his commandments and his statutes which he commanded thee. And they shall be upon thee for a sign and for a wonder, and upon thee thy seed forever. So now this is going to be a testimony as to who the children of the Lord are. That scripture alone proves us to be in the children of Israel. Verse 47 says, because thou servest not the Lord thy power, Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. Right. So, like Job said, is he only our God only when we're doing good? No, when we're doing bad also. We still have to glorify and praise Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. But our people want to go looking for the Lord when they're down and out. But then when the Lord lifts us up, you know what I'm saying? 2/3 of our people always turn over their shoulder and turn their back up to the Lord and look towards these other nations to try to mingle and dwell in with them. But we're supposed to be separated through the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of Yahweh by Shem Yahushai. All right? Verse 47 says, because thou servest not the Lord thy power, Yahweh by Shem Yahushai, with joyfulness and with gladness of the heart, for the abundance of all things. Therefore shalt thou serve thy enemy, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in the want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. And part of that yoke is this system that's set up, man. The Lord has to destroy it. All right, it says it's verse 49. It says, the Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the ends of the earth, as swift as an eagle flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. All right. A nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. A nation of fierce countenance, which shall not regard the persons of the old, nor show favor to the young. Right. They don't. They don't care. They persecuted Bill Cosby. They're persecuting Kanye West. It don't matter. They persecuted that one senior analyst on ESPN, that one Jake chick, for her speaking out against this whole shit. Stephen A. Smith and all them, like, turn their back on her, which they ain't nothing but goddamn cool Sambo ass niggas anyway. You know? verse 51, it says, and he shall eat the fruit of thy cattle. Right, he reaps all the benefits for all this, all the work we put in the earth, and the fruit of thy land upon thou until thou be destroyed, which also shall not leave thee neither corn, wine, or oil, or the increase of thy kind, or flocks of thy sheep, until they have he have destroyed thee, man. And that's what we're literally seeing right now happen. All right, and the cause of this is going to cause, because of that right there, it's going to that it says, surely oppression maketh the wise man mad. All right, yes, we get upset and angry, but oppression will make a wise man foolish, to where you'll try to do anything to get out of this oppression, man. So jumping down to verse 54, it says, so that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his neighbor, his brother, and towards the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave, man. So it's going to be an ongoing self-hatred, inflicting pain on each other, because guess what? We don't show that hatred. Even though Esau shows that hatred towards us, as a nation of people, we don't show that same hatred towards back towards Esau, man. But we show that hatred towards ourselves. All right, so from there, I want to go to Jeremiah chapter 8. It's Jeremiah 8:1. It says, at that time, said the Lord, they shall bring bring out the bones of the kings of Judah, and the bones of his princes, and the bones of his priests, and the bones of the prophets, and the end of the bones of the inhabitants of Jerusalem out of their graves. All right. All right. So we're not going to have any more rest. The Lord's going to pull us out of that rest, man. And they said they shall spread them before, that goes into Revelation chapter 11. All right. And the valley of the dry bones, Ezekiel 37. It says, and they shall spread them before the sun and the moon and all the hosts of heaven, whom they have loved and whom they have served, and after whom they have walked, and whom they have sought, and whom they have worshipped. They shall not be gathered nor buried. They shall be for dung upon the face of the earth. Right. And these other nations not going to cause us to be buried. So our inheritance and our resting place was taken away from us physically and spiritually, and we're having to gain that back. And the Lord is only allowing the elect to gain that back in these times. Ultimately, all Israel is going to be right in their right state of mind, because part of the curses was like, He's going to slap us with a blindness and astonishment of heart, meaning we're going to be foolish in the mind. We're not going to have no understanding of nothing, man. Everything is going to have to be taught by us, and we're going to follow the other nations. And that's exactly what happened to us. All right. So now, verse 3, it says, and death shall be chosen rather than life by all the residue of them that remain of this evil family, which remain in all the places whither I have driven them, saith the Lord of hosts. So we're going to be a proverb of reproach everywhere. That's part of the curses, man. So without that understanding of our power, we're going to go elsewhere to seek that power. We're trying to seek that power from Esau, the one that's literally been set up to take that power away from us. You know? Keep going in verse 4. It says, moreover, thou shalt say unto them, thus saith the Lord, shall they fall and not arise? Shall he shall he turn away and not return? Right. And that's what our people are asking. Is the Lord, how long is the Lord going to be like this against us forever? But nah, he's going to make a way for us to come back. You know? It says, verse 5, it says, when then, why then is this people of Jerusalem slidden back by a perpetual backsliding? They hold fast deceit. They refuse to return. Right. So it's not until we turn back to the Lord that he's going to take us out of that condition. And luckily, the spirit of Yahweh Shai was placed upon the elect to ignite us and inspire us to turn our people that believe back by the prophets. so that wisdom being restored back unto us, giving us life. All that's going into like Ezekiel 37. Verse 6, it said, I hearkened and heard, but they spake not. All right, no man repented him of his wickedness, saying, what have we done? Everyone has turned to his course as the horse runneth into battle. Right, so they going swiftly to do wickedness, man. Ain't nobody, they listen to the men on the highways and byways trying to tell them, hey, turn back to Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and they're not listening. They choose to go even quicker towards destruction, man. Yea, the stock of the heaven knoweth her appointed times, and the turtle and the crane and the shallow observe the time of their coming, but my people know not judgment of the Lord. Right. So all like an ox knows his owner and an ass his master crib, but my people do not consider. Our people are dumbfounded as to where their power comes from and where their righteousness comes from. And they seek trying to get it from this earth and get it from the system that's set up, and it's not going to happen. So you're praying for justice in a place that doesn't have promote righteous judgment or justice. Verse 8, it says, how do ye say we are wise, and the law of the Lord is with us? Lo, certainly in vain made he it. The pen of the scribe is in vain. Right. So like that's like a lot of our people say don't want to go according to the law. They say, Christians say the law is done away with. All right. All right. So now, so are the laws done in vain? No. The law is beautiful. That's what exposes us to what sin and wickedness is. Because without it, we wouldn't know. Verse 9, it says, the wise men are ashamed, they are dismayed and taken. Lo, they have rejected the word of the Lord, and what wisdom is in them? None. Because the wisdom of this world is foolishness, man. So none of these individuals in the entertainment industry can be our leaders, man, because they don't have what it takes. They don't have what is necessary to rise up a nation of individuals. Because it takes the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, not the spirit of this world. All right. Verse 10, it says, therefore will I give their wives unto others, and their fields to them that shall inherit them. For everyone from the least even to the greatest is given to covetousness, from the prophet even unto the priest, everyone dealeth falsely. And that's why the truth is going to set us as free us from all this falsehood that we've been helping promote in the earth. 11, for they have healed the hurt of the daughter of my people slightly, saying peace, peace, when there is no peace. Right. So like our people have this hope, this phantom of hope that like, oh, I might be able to make it if I just make one hit song, or if I could just get in the NBA, if I can just get in the movies, if I can just make this, if I can do that, I might be able to make it. And it gives our people a sense of false hope when our hope lies in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. All right. Verse 12, it says, were they ashamed when they had committed abomination? Nay, they were not ashamed at all. Right, because they declared their sins of Sodom and hide it not, man. Look at little nasty X promoting his zestiness, and that type of stuff being forced out of our people. Now August Alsina coming out talking about he's zesty. You know what I'm saying? And I wouldn't be surprised if because I ain't heard that man sell no albums in a minute. I wouldn't be surprised if he's doing that as a political ploy to regain status in this whole system and just get more album sales. They might have said, hey, well, you're gonna have to do this if you wanna, because Nori made a good point. He said once he made that song, oh, what was it? That Super Thug. I think it was either Super Thug or yeah, he had one platinum hit, like I think it was like Super Thug back in the late 90s. And he said they gave him an offer, and he didn't want to take that offer. He said he didn't have another platinum hit since then. All right, so now they may could do certain things to try to get certain establishments and certain footing into the system, man. All right, it says, verse 12, it says, were they ashamed when they had committed abominations? Nay, they were not ashamed. They were not at all ashamed. Neither could they blush. They weren't even embarrassed at all. Therefore shall they fall among them that fall in the time of their visitation. They shall be cast down, saith the Lord. and I will consume them, saith the Lord. There shall be no grapes on the vine, nor figs on the fig tree, and the leaf shall fade, and the things that I have given them shall pass away from them. Boom. Right? And anything we try to gain in this society, the Lord is going to make it pass away from them, from us. All right. So I want to get this couple more scriptures to close it out. I want to get Haggai chapter 1, verse 6. It says, ye have sown much and bring in little. Ye eat. All right. So basically, the Lord stripped us of everything. Right. And that's what I was talking about in Jeremiah 8 and 13. All right. But now, and that's stripping of us from everything is going to continue over into our captivity. Because you know, Jake, they'll try to make a heaven out of hell real quick, man. To the point where the slums and the hood and the project is the place you want to be. It's boring in the suburbs. Ain't nothing going on. Da 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 da. You want to be right there in the face of danger with all this fucking wickedness that's going on. They made that a hit place to be. Dudes make it out of this, make it so called make it, and but they want to go back to the hood with $1 million chains and stuff on and end up dead. Why would you want to stay in that environment? Because Jake has made that shit look lavish. Verse 6, it says, you have so much but bring in little. Ye eat but have not enough. Ye drink but ye are not filled with drink. Ye clothe you but there is none warm. We have no comfort in this society. No covering. All right. There is none warm, and he that earneth wages to put into a bag with holes. Right. So we're gonna have to repeat that cycle over and over and over again. And it's ultimately what they call living from paycheck to paycheck. You're only gonna get enough to just keep you coming back. It's a form of slavery. It says verse 7, it says, thus saith the Lord of hosts, consider your ways. Look at what you're doing. It's an ongoing cycle. That's really it's a dead end. And that dead end is gonna be to your destruction. It says, go up to the mountains and bring wood and build the house, and I will take pleasure in it, and I will be glorified, saith the Lord. So now we're building that house spiritually right now. All right. Verse 9, ye look for much, and lo, it came to little. And when you brought it home, I did blow upon it. Why? The Lord say when you try to prosper in this place, he gonna fuck it up. Why? It says, saith the Lord of hosts, because of mine house that is waste, and ye run every man unto his own house, man. So the only thing is that's going to prosper is the building of the house of the Lord, the temple of the Lord, and that spiritual temple is being built right now through the spirit of Yahweh by Shemal Shai and the elect men that are out there on the highways and byways and pushing these lessons, man. All right. So that's what's going to uh, disrupt or take away this covenant of death, or pretty much this covenant of death that our people signed, man. And they choose to be a part of instead of turning to life in Yahweh by Shemal Shai. All right, so I'm gonna close it out with Isaiah 28 and 12, and it says, to whom it says, for with start at 11, it says, for with stammering lips and another tongue will I speak to this people. So in the form of mocking. All right, it says, but the word of the Lord, like verse 12, it says, to whom he said, this is the rest wherewith I may cause a weary to rest, and this is the refreshing that you yet they would not hear. Right, we're telling them this is the rest. We rest in the Lord, man. When that rabbit hole of a system that Esau is got our people following behind is a dead end to destruction. All right, but our people are not trying to hear that. They're trying to do after the bidding of their father, the devil. It says, but the word of the Lord was unto them precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little, that they might go and fall backwards and be broken and snared and taken. Right. This is supposed to correct the ways of our people. Wherefore hear the word of the Lord, ye scornful men that rule this people which is in Jerusalem. All right, because ye have said, we have made a covenant with death, and with hell we are at agreement. Right, and that's what they're making, trying to fit in with the system. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through it, it shall not come unto us, for we have made lies our refuge, and under falsehood have we hid ourselves. So they don't. Our people don't feel like there's going to be a judgment coming to them by going, but that overflowing scores is the judgment. This is when Isaiah was talking to the northern kingdom, all right, about Assyria, if I'm not mistaken. But that overflowing scourge was the Assyrians being came in like a swift nation, like an eagle, binding our people up and destroying our people, man. And that's exactly what's going to happen here in America, man. Verse 16, it says, "Therefore thus saith the Lord, Behold, I lay in Zion for a foundation, a stone, a tried stone, a precious cornerstone, a sure foundation. He that believeth shall not make haste." Right? So now, with that being said, shall not make haste. All right. So we're gonna rest in the Lord. We're gonna be still and not make haste in the time of trouble, because there will be. We understand in the troubling time that the Lord is going to protect and secure us. Verse 17, it said, "Judgment also will I lay to the line, and righteousness to the plumb. And the hail shall sweep away the refuge of lies, and the water shall overflow the hiding place." Right. And so that's going to be the spirit of the Lord destroying this place before you physically tears it down. All right. In verse 18, it says, this is what I want to close it out with. It says, "And your covenant with death shall be disannulled, and your agreement with hell shall not stand. When the overflowing scourge shall pass through, then ye shall be trodden down by it." Right. So the Lord's going to, like, even with, it's going to take destruction of our 2/3 of our people for their covenant with death and their contract with death to be disannulled by the Spirit of the Lord. But the elect have that contract breached from the beginning through the Spirit of Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying the servant's purpose. With that, the likes of Ka Halayim La Yahweh, by Shem Yahweh Shai, by Shem Harvard Kwadash, my Amath. Double honors to the elder apostles, a great millstone, and my elder Heroin as well. Salutations to the Akim that are pushing the truth and sincerity and truth. And peace and blessings to the men, women, and children that believe in the name of Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. All right, Shalom.